Welcome to Busting the Myth of Midlife Crisis. If you are anywhere on the midlife spectrum, this teaching is for you. Pull up a front row seat and get ready to capture some fresh perspectives. This 6-part series includes these topics: the things we tell ourselves, some myths need to vanish, look through a fresh lens, think in terms of decades, community matters, and let love lead the way. Before we start, I encourage you to get the Busting the Myth booster pack, which includes a course journal with my talking points, plus plenty of room to capture notes, ideas, and questions, plus an office hour with Mary Sharon. It's a sweet deal and downloadable right now in the store on my website. So let's take a look at the things we tell ourselves. For our opening visual, I took this photo of a grapevine and a brick wall on the patio of a favorite coffee house in my town. The grapevine, well, we hear things through it, including myths. And the brick wall, well, sometimes we find ourselves up against it from time to time, which might describe life from time to time, especially in midlife. Self-doubts and questions can visit any of us, especially amid the fallout of this long pandemic season. And add to the mix a world that's wobbling on all fronts. These issues can feel magnified if you're in midlife. Questions begin to surface like, am I up to the challenge of this new frontier? Do I have anything meaningful to offer? Is there a place for me? No matter your own spiritual path, I'll speak to the challenges we all experience around the meaning in life. Here are some common midlife myths. I should be, and fill in the blank, employed in my field by now, financially stable by now, advancing in my career by now, having a family by now, having things figured out by now. That phrase, by now, has always puzzled me. Who sets the timeline? Who applies the pressure? Based on what? And why? We all fall into the trap of measuring ourselves by others' standards. Whether we meet those standards or not, why are we even looking over our shoulder? Why would I look over my shoulder? Why would you look over yours? If we are to actually believe Jesus, as he tells Peter in the midst of the storm, your eyes belong on the one who calls you. I pay attention to how Jesus does his calling and how those whom he calls respond. Jesus urges wholeheartedness and shows us what that looks like. So you can ask yourself, what are some midlife things that I tell myself? Has another year just slipped away? Am I losing ground? Losing traction? Losing hope? Losing the fire? Ask yourself, do I actually believe these midlife messages? And even if life is not turning out as I imagined, does it matter? Really? Ask yourself, am I living an irreversible tragedy or possibly an invitation to something new? So here's the takeaway. First, notice the messages you tell yourself. Write them down. Bring them into the light. And second, notice where in your body you carry your midlife anxiety. In your chest area, in your gut, in your face, your eyes, your forehead, in your shoulders or back. Does anxiety shape your habits? Does it nudge you toward addictions? Ask brother anxiety, sister anxiety, What have you come to tell me? Call it to accountability. Have some eye-to-eye and heart-to-heart conversation. Call out any lie in the message and call forth any wisdom. In fact, call forth your interior truth. Then ask Brother Anxiety, Sister Anxiety, to leave. It has no permission to take up residence in your interior house. Anxiety is a messenger. Pay attention to what it tells you, and then see it to the door. Next is part 2, which is titled Some Myths Need to Vanish. But first, if you have downloaded your Busting the Myth booster pack, I encourage you to schedule your office hour with me soon. And if you don't have the Busting the Myth booster pack, you'll find it in my store along with a wealth of books and audio tracks at marysharonmoore.com. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and give a like, give a comment, and share this series with your friends. Email me your suggestions on courses or topics you would like to see covered. Your input is valuable. Join me for part 2. See you soon.
Dare to believe.